Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm your host, Masses32210. Today's project is kind of an essential one if you're building a sandrail. And then we're going to be working on the shifter rod today. We're going to make it down to a custom length. This is not hard. This is something actually relatively easy to do. All you got to do is have just a chop saw, tape measure, and a welder. That is definitely going to be the critical tool. Possibly angle grinder or a bench grinder, something to knock the wells down. Let me show you how we're going to get started. This is my buddy sandrail that I've been helping him. We got the torsion in right before winter set in. We're not done with that yet. I'm trying to leave a couple things to last. So like when I flip this thing over to weld the floor in, I'll take care of some of the other gussets and stuff all at one time. Getting back on this shift rod. If you notice, I have the coupler here without the set screw, but the hole is right at the little indentation in the shift fork, so that's set there. What I did was took the stock shift rod, which is like 3 times longer than this. I chopped it down, just a rough measurement on a certain length, and what we're going to do today is determine the easy measurements. The easiest way to do this is with one hand, keep this up parallel to the hole right here. And what you're going to do is you're going to measure from the rough center distance from there to your shift rod, and you'll know how long to cut the other end of the shift rod. This is the part that would be in the center tunnel on a Volkswagen Beetle or just about anything VW based air cooled. I know we done this right before winter set in, never got a chance to finish it. I forgot the exact length, but all this has been pre-cut. But if you notice, let me see. Try and do this one-handed. Alright. If you notice, I'm at the dead center, and with the two, when the other one's brought up, they should be dead center of that. That's all it is. You see, it's dead center of the shift hole here. Go straight back to there. Well, now that we got this piece already cut, we got the other piece cut. I wouldn't recommend really trying to run a tape measure from dead center here. Well, yeah, you could. There should be a through bolt here that goes through this. You could put the through bolt in, take a tape measure from this point to the center of here. That is going to give you your overall length of the shift rod. Now, this one is kind of, I'm going to have to actually use two hands. There's a little bit of surface rust, we got to get that cleaned off. Once you got it, like I said, from the point here where the through bolt is, just run your tape all along to the center of here. That's another way of getting your overall measurement, or the first technique I showed you of just pre-cutting your main rod, then running your tape measure from the end of that to the dead center of that will tell you the next piece of overall length. And all you would do, you come back here, run your tape from the edge here, run it out, and wherever that distance is, mark it, put it on your chop saw, and get a good 90-degree cut. Second of all, because you see this piece has got a little bit of rust on it, we've took it on just on the bench grinder, just cleaned up that edge, do a small bevel, and I'll meet y'all back at the inside of the shop, and I'll show you what the next step is. Well, alright guys, this is the next step. I'm using my little DIY cell phone tripod adapter. Glad I'm able to use that for doing this. If you notice what I got here, this is just a piece of angle iron, or this is actually a piece of bed frame. It's the same thing. It's angle iron. It's giving me the perfect 90 degrees down the side and the bottom. And what I did was I took both halves. The edges are beveled. They're cleaned up for a good weld. I've got a good area back here near this coupler to attach my ground, so I know this whole piece is going to be grounded out. 2 simple C-clamps, clamped everything in here. Be careful on the very front, right there. There's a this pocket, it has a little bit bigger, it's like a lip compared to the rod itself. So I made sure I used the front sides of it to keep giving me that perfectness. Like it holds this little cup right here against both these pieces, so I know that's square. I looked at it, triangulated it straight down, used the hole back here for the I'm sorry, what is that one? That's the little set screw. So using all that, line it up, using this, that should be perfectly 90 degrees now. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my welder, and I'm going to start just stitch welding this in. Make sure I get it done all the way around. I'll go back again, give it another good weld. This is it's not really thick and it's not soft, so you want to, or not thin, so you want to be very careful when you stitch this up. Now that this is all set, it's time for welding it, grinding, and eventually shifting. Well, alright guys, see, now you've noticed this has become a complete single bar. This is not the, you want to give this a better, cleaner edge. With the light taps of the welding wire, mine is set on a low speed, high heat, because I just want to tap it. I want to make sure once that wire hits, it fuses both pieces completely together. Unfortunately, I am running a cheap welder, but it does do the job, so I have a lot of the slag I got to clean up. What I'm going to do is go over to my bench grinder, grind this smooth and round. If I find any little holes that, I didn't make penetration, just a tad, I'll bring it back, tack weld them, and go from there. Let me get this cleaned up so I can kind of show you what it looks like kind of cleaned up, and I'll show you before I have to do any more tack filling. Alright, well, this is coming off the bench grinder. All I did was I went back and forth just very lightly and gave it a twist while I was grinding at it. One thing I found out from my buddy taught me, and that's why I try to teach other people, is you see there's a little dot right there. Whether I built my hump too high, it didn't penetrate in, whatever the case. All this, technically this is solid. This isn't going to move, but this is, to me, is very unfinished, should I say. So what I'm going to do now is take my welder, go back through right over these little areas, basically stitch welded in. I want to create a smoother surface. Even if it's a little rough from the grinding, I want this to look like one complete bar. This is the exact same technique that my friend showed me how to do mine, and I'm trying to teach others. Some people would say, okay, this is done, it's solid, this is not going to break, and they're right, and they would just body fill this in Bondo. But why do that? You can actually use your welder like a Bondo, just fill it in, it penetrates, it heats up, grind it down. Even if the metal's not dead smooth, at least it would look like still somewhat of one solid bar. Well guys, this is it. Completed, done, smoothed out. It's done. It's simple and easy. Don't let the intimidation of any custom work scare you from ever doing your own project. Don't get stuck paying the so-called pros a bunch of money to do the same thing you can do at home. Just a couple of hand tools. If you didn't even have nothing more than a welder, you take your measurements like I showed you, from the crossbar here to the center of where the cup is supposed to be. Cut it. Piece it up. Nothing more than a piece of angle iron. Angle iron will help you keep this thing 90 degrees. Stitch weld it. One other thing, if you want to make it look pretty, you could just stitch weld it. If you got a good welder, you're not worried about slag. If you don't have anything other than that, if you don't have nothing to grind it with, you could leave it. A file, a simple hand file. You'd be there forever, but it will work. You don't need, a professional would probably charge you easy $100 to do this. This has taken me less 15 minutes, if that. In between the time I'm doing this and that, I don't know how long this video is going to end up being without me talking and showing y'all. Roughly 15 minutes you can have this done. Don't go out there and pay the pros for this. Look at that. If you got any kind of Volkswagen, Bud, Baja chassis, something that you may have to make stuff, custom links and stuff, there you go. At least a $100 job done for just a little bit of time. Guys, thumbs up if you like this. If you're not a VW fan, still give me a thumbs up anyway. Double thumbs up, it doesn't bother me. I'm trying to teach everybody else what the stuff I've learned, so at least whenever I go in the future, at least I know there's another generation that can learn something off me, what I've learned. I want y'all to pass it on to other people. Guys, thank you for watching. God bless, and please rate and subscribe.